Hi, this is Matt Guillory.
And this is James Labrie, and you're here right now with Jump Metal.
Hello, Jump Metal fanatics. I'm Entrevista, and here we are with the mythic James Labrie and Matt Guillory. Hello, how are you?
Doing great.
Great.
So, how was the composition for the Impermanent Resonance?
Well, the compositions for Impermanent Resonance was a little bit different from, the process was a little different from what we've done in the past. This time, a lot more focus was put on the vocal melodies in particular. So a great deal of time was spent crafting the vocal melodies first and then building the songs around those. I've been getting more and more into vocals and being influenced more by vocals recently, and even to a certain extent on Static Impulse, but definitely more so with Impermanent Resonance. So that was sort of the launching pad for these songs were the vocals. And so I just wanted to make sure that we got the vocals right first, and then build the songs around those so that they could be, the vocals could be supported in the strongest way possible, as opposed to writing, a chord progression or a riff or something and sort of trying to impose a vocal melody over that. I wanted to do the opposite. As James is such an amazing vocalist that the vocals should be the priority, and so I think that approach actually worked out for us, because I think as a result the songs are really strong.
Oh, good. And what's the difference of the latest albums of the band?
Well, I think Matt was mentioning it. I think with Impermanent Resonance, there's way more focus on the vocal melody, and I think that's what really makes it evidently stand on its own, separate from Static Impulse and Elements of Persuasion. The thing is that it's a continuation. I think the important thing is that we maintained our identity as a band, but what really separates it is the emphasis on vocal melody that is undeniable, it's memorable, it's immediate, it's infectious. I think that's what really gives Impermanent Resonance its own platform.
I have known that you, after you called Mo Musler, so I want to know why the band changed the name.
Well, Mo Musler was used. It was just a moniker at the time when Matt and I first got together in 1998. It was with the intention that it was going to be, a solo album of mine. But it was, and we thought at first we were going to be using my name. I couldn't use my name just because of my contractual obligations with my label, Atlantic, at the time. So at that point, we started to incorporate the band name as James Labrie. The thing is that the reason we use my name is because it's identifiable. It's something that is familiar around the world with many music fans. It's something that people can relate to and have somewhat of an idea of what maybe the music might entail. But beyond that, it's nothing more than that. Really, this is a band, and it could be labeled a band name quite easily. We went with my name just because it's something that is known in many places around the world. But that's really its purpose, its familiarity. But it's nothing more than that.
So James, when do you write a song, how do you decide if are you going to take it to your solo project or solo album, or take her to Dream Theater?
Well, it's quite easy because the main composer is Matt Guillory. So, it begins and ends with what Matt is thinking. I mean, I'll approach Matt with melody ideas that I have and riffs that I have, and I'll send those files to Matt. But really, besides that, it's really Matt is steering the ship. Matt is coming up with the ideas. Matt is putting the arrangements together, and granted, we had a couple of other key and very admirable artists involved in this, in some of the writing as well, which was Peter Witchers and Nicholas Lundin. So they also contributed. But to answer your question quite quickly, it's easy for me to separate from Dream Theater in this because a lot of the ideas and the direction are coming from what Matt is feeling and what Matt is wanting to do musically.
Really?
Definitely.
So, Matt, how it was to work with other writers just like Peter Witchers?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I have admired Peter Witchers for years, and when he contacted us and expressed interest in collaborating, and I was thrilled because I knew what he could bring to the table. And so it was just a matter of him sending me something that he was working on, and I forwarded it to James. And James got really excited, because Peter is such an amazing and gifted guitar player, and I am very thrilled with what he has contributed because he's such an amazing and gifted musician, and I'm extremely happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So James, alongside your solo work, is very good, and in Permanent Resonance is having a very good reviews overall over the world. So are you planning a solo tour?
Absolutely. The reality is that we're going to wait, though, until the next Dream Theater World Tour concludes. When that is done, then Matt and I and the other guys will be discussing what we feel is the right time to go out, and we'll be setting up a very significant tour.
What are the next projects of Dream Theater?
Well, I mean, I kind of answered that. I mean, at this point, just previously, we're going to be starting another world tour in January to support our latest album. And right now, what we're doing, each and every member is doing many interviews. So we're promoting and setting up that album release. Also, we have a DVD live at Luna Park is coming out on November 5th, but it also is going to be screened at movie theaters around the world